So, hello guys, we're gonna start this podcast with the sound of the universe. So, take one breath each time you chant this. Brutal,
Brutal.
brutal, brutal.
Stop. This is like some Om or some shit.
Yes, yes. Now we'll have the holy divine wisdom from the Blackpool Saint Hamoudi, and we can spread the mock spill.
Which one? The black pill is energy that surrounds us. We are the black pill Jedi. Yeah, that's quite literally what he said. But we're taking too long with this intro. Like, let's get back on track.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, like when you talk about all of that, like women being less satisfied under their bosses, when you talk about women being more biased towards other women in scientific paper, scientific peer review of scientific research papers, they often talk about, yeah, it's internalized misogyny. Now, my question is, how the fuck does this even work, man? We are talking about women who were never born in a world where women were not allowed to vote. Women were, or where women were housemakers. They were never born. They hadn't spent a single day in a world where women weren't educated. Like, if they are still going after each other, that's not something that men have manufactured into you. That just exists inside you. And this is maybe part of the reason why men gained an advantage, because unless women were very close to each other, women could not form strong bonds. And men could form organizations even if the bonds were not as strong, even if the relationships were relatively shallow.
Agree to that.
So that is the whole idea, because it's not like human beings are the only species where the male is stronger than the female. Like I said, bonobos, you have the females which are stronger than the males, which are stronger than the females, but the females can still organize. You cannot beat a tendency into someone that doesn't exist. Dude, contribute something to the. What are you doing even? Did you just start connecting with Saint Hamoudi or some shit?
No,
In Gandhi heaven.
you should continue, man. You should speak the whole topic, and then I can give my contribution.
भाई बीच बीच में just comment करता जा, like what you think about it.
Recording off है क्या अभी?
Its recording is on. These are the moments people actually like in the podcast, probably. So yeah, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about the misconception, the myths in India that people have about women in general. They talk about that women prefer jobs here than looks, but in reality, it was like 50 years ago or 20 years ago, not now. Let's talk about that. Give your views on that.
Huh? I couldn't pick up on what you said. My mic your mic probably roved a bit, or maybe it's just my device.
Oh, okay, it's my Chad accent.
Bro, I mean, my phone may have just roved for a second right there.
Okay, so I'm saying that talk about the misconception or the myths that people believe that in India women need jobs but not the looks, while in reality it was just 50 or 20 years ago because they had to be dependent,
Yeah,
or
this is
it
exactly,
was.
and you know what? This is why I hate boomers. Boomers are like the champagne socialists of gender rights. these boomers would now make videos on us and documentaries on us, and pretend that there's something wrong with us. These people quite literally benefited from the exclusion of women from economy, and now when they are in power, they would sanction policies that get women into these jobs so they could be free, and then tell us there's something wrong with us. Beti bachao, beti padhao. Like, Modi, man, you had your time. When it was your time, you literally got you literally got into an arranged marriage, you true sell, and now it's beti bachao, beti padhao. So we can't.
He divorced. He's single now.
Brutal.
I mean, now he's old. It's time to take the black pill samadhi for him.
Black pill samadhi for him. What?
Yes. You have to go into the dark energy of the brutality.
The brutality of the death, I guess, of the grave. Wait a moment. There's no
Yes, of
brutality
this
in the grave.
black-pilled existence.
Yeah, this conversation, it's floating from really low IQ to high IQ.
Okay.
You made me forget my
Continue,
train
bro.
of thought.
What?
You made me forget my train of thought.
Okay.
Wait a moment. Let me just.
It should be fun, because I be serious all day in my basement, but when it comes to sending reels or talking, it has to be funny.
We were trying for a serious discussion, and it kind of got
Okay.
derailed. Wait a moment. It kind of got derailed for a moment. Um, you know what? I talked with that feminist, and I sent her the. I sent her the research from Professor Ellen Burchard, and she also believes, they also have this belief that beauty standards are all set by men and the patriarchy. So I sent her that research by Professor Ellen Burchard, that in 1967, when they asked women how many women consider love to be important for marriage, it was like 24%. As soon as the quote-unquote patriarchy subsided in the 1980s, 80% of women said that being in love is important for getting married to a partner. The other 20% are just probably absolutely bitter Beckys who ran through by chat. That's a fact. That's also a fact, guys. There's no denying that. So then she was like, oh, God forbid women have standards. I was not telling, so I had to answer to her. It's not like it's an issue if women have standards. The issue is claiming that every single tendency that women have was manufactured into them by men. So let's say if misogyny was internalized, why did it go up so fast? In a matter of like 10, 20 years, you went from 20%, 24% of women saying that looks is important for marriage, to 80% of women in a matter of like 20 years. I am pretty sure that you would find similar statistics in India today, right? I absolutely believe this, that 80% of women in India have this same conception, because 1980s United States, 1970s United States, and 2025 Indian cities, they probably have similar levels of development. So if misogyny was to be internalized like that, why did that change? Why wasn't that internalized as well?
Okay, so what do you think about compared to the other
Let me just get another statement straight. During the socio-economic compromise era, like which women like to call the patriarchy, there were certain behaviors that women had which led to the formation of that socio-economic compromise era. Women still retain that, and there were some compromises, some clamps that women had to put on their own nature so as to benefit, which got removed. Right? This is what actually happened. Women's behavior has not really changed. What benefits them has, you know, what benefits them has changed.
Yes, completely agree to that. And I'm shocked that you spend your time debating with females because I don't think that you can ever make them understand about how marriages are working in this or how misogyny is not internalized.
The inherent nature just like remained. Why do you believe that women's choices after the removal of the quote unquote patriarchy, why would certain tendencies remain and certain tendencies go away? This is genuinely a question. Why would certain tendencies of quote unquote misogyny be internalized? It's like a boogeyman, while others would just evaporate.
Hmm.
Maybe those things are built into women. Those things were never meant to leave women, and these were just things that women had to suppress so they could benefit from somewhere else.
Yes, agree. So the question I was asking to you earlier is that what do you think in comparison to other countries like USA, and when you compare it to India, what do you think that where will feminism take greater brain rot or greater mass influence? It will be India, or India
Like,
will be lower than other countries in that.
I'm being honest, it would not seem as pronounced early on. The main reason is just look at the average IQ of India. Just look at the average IQ of India. Do you believe a lot of these women would ever secure jobs that are going to make them their own money, significant money? No, it's not. It's going to be very gradual, and you would always have these lower IQ women going for guys who make who make more than them, but who are also not pretty good looking. So you'd continue to have a dysgenic society of sorts in India for the next 20, 30 years. That's a minimum, by the way. At 50 years, it could even be 50 years, but yeah, in the cities, with the educated women, it's brutally over.
I mean, even the laws are pretty subhuman in India.
Yeah, extremely subhuman laws. Also, a few days ago, I made a post on how how crime is caused by poverty. A major narrative that I see perpetuated by women on the internet is uh, by feminists on the internet is how men commit more crimes, how men are let off for crimes. Well, that's not true. How it's a system built by men, shit like that. Like, let's be real, man. Who has better chances of social mobility when they're born in poverty? Like, be real, 100%.
Like it was not that men build it; it was just that whoever can build it should build it. It was like that.
Yeah, that is exactly something that uh, that's exactly something that I try to explain people. You would find many examples of female, rulers in human history because they were equally competent, if not more competent, than their adversaries. But the issue is the number of women as such is always going to be lower than number of men as such.
Like I can try to explain your thing
It's
in
known as
a
the
example
variability
like
hypothesis, right? Men have more retards and more geniuses, while women have a vast majority of women would be midweights.
yes, completely agree to that. And it's better to be all on the top or all on the bottom. It just sucks in the middle. And also that see if you put on the other shore, if you put a chair and you have to cross it through the river, so if you compare it between male and female, whoever can reach there would get the chair. So in the same way for society, let's just keep society as a chair. So if you can cross the river, that chair is yours. So it was same for the society that men were able to reach and cross that river because of how their genetics were built, because of their biology, where women were not. So just
And
because they
also,
were
funny
not,
thing
and
is, there's major ignorance that goes on. 60 to 70% of men, they basically died childless. They basically, they went to meet Gandhi without leaving behind children.
I do not. I'm not the believer of candy. I believe in Hernan Drago.
Bro, stop. I will just talk. We are talking about something serious.
Oh, okay, but you
So
had to bring up
the
candy.
also
So
the way that the criminal
I am very religious, and I believe in Hernan Drago.
also, also the way the criminal justice, now this is really serious. Come on, man. The way the criminal justice system works, it looks to rehabilitate female criminals, while it looks to outcast and throw away male criminals. Even the criminals who have committed minor offenses, right? So what happens?
Yes,
What happens when you jail someone for 2 years for a minor crime? That permanently puts a blot on their resume. That permanently puts a blot on their resume. They're not gonna acquire jobs from anywhere prestigious. They're never gonna return to mainstream society. This is the issue I face a lot when I'm trying to discuss the dynamics of crime. A few days ago, I had another debate with a feminist where we were discussing which is
this
which is
sucks.
which is yeah, this truly sucks. Which is worse, child abuse or severe sexual coercion, or otherwise known as the R word. So my points were childhood abuse is probably a lot worse than the R word. And the problem is,
Yes,
whenever we are trying to bring up, now we are not undermining
because
the
look,
harsh effects. We are not
and
undermining the
R
harsh effects
word.
of severe sexual coercion, otherwise known as the R word. But the thing is, it's more or less feminist mass hysteria to consider it something that's life ending. It's not something that's even, let's say torture on war criminals and stuff like that. It's not permanently, scarring in the same way that a childhood abuse is. Because you
Yes,
don't.
because see, if you were tortured for maybe 16 years of your life or 18 versus if you were the R word, and if you compare it, the child with the 18 years of trauma thing, he would have more problems, in life and
No,
conscience
it's
issues.
not. It's
While
not just. It's not even just the time duration. The mental plasticity in younglings. That's an issue. That kind of abuse would embellish itself onto you, in a way, and stuff like the R word or torture of inmates. It simply doesn't compare because humans are much better adapted at coping with short-term abuse when they're adults. Short-term abuse can only permanently damage you if you are below a certain age. That's why the long-term effects of childhood abuse are far worse than pretty much everything else. And
also women do get sympathy over anything, even if it's very short term, while they have issue when like they ask the men to express, but when they do express, they have problem with that. So it's
yeah,
hypocrisy.
also you know what? I Whenever we're trying to discuss the reasons of male loneliness, the reasons that that the fact that most men are considered unattractive, most men, if they are, let's say, the average height, they have to make 3 times the national income. If they have neogenous facial features like Asian men, they have to make 6 times the national income. Stuff like that. They'll be like, oh, this number of women get, like that makes no sense. You're talking about how 50, 60, 70% of men have miserable lives, and then you bring up a certain minority of men, and your only possible retort is bringing up a minority of men who were possibly even let off for minor offenses in the past by women, and talking about them. How are they relevant in the discussion? In fact, this research paper upon research paper on this, that people have this misconception in their minds that rapists are the loner types, incel types. They're not that kind. Rapists are indistinguishable from the average population. They are very charismatic on average, and generally what happens
Richard
is
Ramirez.
they are better looking than the average population. They have more sex partners than the average population. In college and dormitories, the group that forms the vast majority of the rapists is the athletes. What happens,
Oh,
right?
yes.
What happens is very attractive men. I'm not talking about all very attractive men. It's not that all of them have no self control. The issue is some of them are rewarded for having no self control, or they can, even if the woman doesn't want it, let's say he does a small coercion, minor coercion, he is let off for it. He is let off for it. In the mind of this person, he believes that sexually coercing a woman is pleasurable to the woman, and it's rewarding. So eventually he runs into a woman who really doesn't want it,
Yes.
who really doesn't want it, and because his mind is just absolutely conditioned to believe, yeah, no, there's no way this woman cannot like it, right? That's what they are thinking. That happens. The issue is, women would always say stuff like, why don't men have self-control? Why don't men have self-control? The biggest problem with this is certain men are being rewarded for a lack of self-control, and over time they get even and even more out of control.
Yes, completely agree with that. Bro, what are you even doing, man? I think he has rope maxed.
Bro, I didn't rope max. What the fuck? And there's other factors that I'd like to discuss. There's 3 or 4 things that people often ignore in such discussions. An average woman is rated 5.5 out of 10, right? And an average man is rated like 3.3 something out of 10. So one of the major drivers of rape. Now, whenever you talk about this shit, they will be like, "Bro, you are saying that women deserve it. Oh, you're saying women deserve it, bro." I'm not saying that women deserve it because they are weaker and rated as more attractive. What I'm saying is that is part of the reason that women are more likely to be on the receiving end. That's just a fact, and on top that certain men are rewarded for shitty behavior that would go on to do that kind of stuff. This is the anatomy of a crime. Of course, if someone close to me got severely sexually coerced, if someone close to me got murdered, someone close to me was burgled, I would ask for punishment of that crime. But at the same time, we have to ask, why do we live in a society where people have to do this kind of stuff, where people even think about doing this kind of stuff? With women, whenever you are discussing this stuff with women, the issue is they never see beyond that individual. They never try to see into these overall societal problems that cause this. Yo, what are you doing? Did you just rope?
No, man.
Opinions. Bro, stop connecting with Saint Hamoudi.
I am not connecting with Saint Hamoudi, man. It's just that my brain waves are completely destroyed right now, and I'm not able to think anything. But yeah, you should speak upon something, then I will reply.
So if you take a subgroup of guys, all right, who are physically weaker than women, you then put another variable on it, that they would be attractive to the same degree that the average woman is to the average man. If what you get is young, young, like teenagers who are good looking, and what are the rates of teenagers being, R-worded, such teenagers being R-worded, such teenage boys? It's the same rate as women. They might form a very smaller portion of the population, but it kind of gives you an idea how the world would have been if women were stronger. It would not have been any different. It would not. I was debating this shit with her, and she was like, "If women were in power for most of human history,
Yeah, yes, they talk about this that, oh, if women were the leaders, then there will be no wars and everything would be good. And you can see what men have did right now, all that mumbo jumbo.
The issue is these people simply don't understand that the world is limited, its resources limited, the food and the air that we can get are all limited, right? We have to compete over it. No species that is female led in nature doesn't have warfare. For no species that is female led in nature doesn't have violence in the same way as the species that are male led. Hyenas, bonobos, they're all violent. Orcas, like, don't even speak of orcas. They're hilariously horrible, like for a species that is supposed to be peaceful because it's led by females of
Yes,
the species.
I do have talked to an orca.
Bro, stop. Not faint orca, I'm talking about the real ones, the killer whales.
Yes, me too. Man, this is my first time
The
having
reason
a
that women didn't
conversation.
the reason that historically women didn't do it is because they couldn't do it, not because they did not want to do it. In fact, like I said, if you adjust for all of those variables, if you make the male weaker, if you make the male similarly attractive, you would notice that the number of psychopaths, the number of deranged individuals among women is pretty much similar when it, like, compared to men. It's very similar compared to men.
Yes. We also see women talking about that if they ever have a son, how they were gonna treat them. In reels you see.
Yeah, it's retarded, but yeah, I'd not take them as a very good representation of the average woman, but yeah, it represents a certain kind of woman, that's for sure. It represents a good chunk, nevertheless, who are educated in that.
And that good chunk is the reason, because it keeps increasing from small to the. It
Yeah, I
keeps
mean,
the rates keep
it gives you
increasing.
an insight into the mind of the, modern pink-haired feminist.
Average point. Yes, continue.
There's research on this, and women consider brave male war heroes to be sexually attractive. Why do you believe that is? Because those men were acquiring resources from other people. These people genuinely believe that they can, just sit on the table just like they sit on the, therapy sessions, and just draw conclusions, and that would give them a river or a lake automatically, like other women would just give it away. I mean, that's not how it works, to be honest.
Yes, they think that therapy is some magic, They tell you to write your thoughts down, journal, and do some breathing, and it would just turn your life into heaven.
And I'm not even lying about this. I believe the reason that even though men have higher, unaliving rates and stuff like that, even though men, have worse, quote unquote worse mental health, the reason that men report higher happiness is probably because men don't ever visit therapists. Because really, man, think about it. Therapists are not really. I'm getting hiccups. Therapists are not good people. Therapists are not good people. They are looking to make a profit for the most part. For the most part, they're simply just trying to make profits. They're not going to solve your issues. They're going to make sure that your issues just remain the way that they are. And Bruce, you see a lot of these reels where women will be like, "Oh, men should just go to therapy. Men should just go to therapy." Like, men who have been rejected by women, who have been bullied by their peers, going to like somehow going to the therapist is going to solve it all. Like I can't wrap my head around this
Even
mentality.
even I once thought about getting a therapy for like so a few days, but then I just changed my mind that it would not solve anything in my life, you know.
Yeah, and the other issue is women often like talking for the sake of talking. Men simply get bored by talking for the sake of talking. Unless it's something that's really useful. And it's not like the therapist is going to be based either. The therapist is going to sell you platitudes and then later write in his book, yeah, man, maybe there's nothing that we can do to solve this guy's problems. Like you read that passage from Slate Star Codex. There was this Asian guy who appeared in front of this therapist, and he said that I attend my job every day. I'm present there every day. I don't ever remain absent for once. But these white dudes who got these jobs through connections, they can go on vacations and are still promoted more than me. What is it that I can do? Then the therapist just gives him all of these retarded platitudes, and when he's gone, he said that I had to do this because all of this is just orthogonal to his real problems. I I couldn't really find an answer how to solve his problems other than restructuring society from the ground up. This is quite literally what the therapist wrote, by the way. But yet, I was reminded what the worst answer to this could be, that you were not entitled to this because a real hard worker does not complain about not being promoted. When I was reading, the comments of social justice warriors on the internet, that's what the
He has the
therapist wrote.
same Andrew Tate Loti mindset.
Yeah, this is something that can only escape the mouths of the social justice warriors. A real hard worker doesn't complain about not being promoted.
Yes, once I saw in a reel of Andrew Tate, he was saying that somebody who is not 6 feet will still have to be attractive, charismatic, and rich, and all that mumbo jumbo. I mean, he said attractive in a way of that stoic and
Yeah, the
motivation
oofy
driven,
doofy
all
sense.
that.
The oofy doofy sense, of course. This is the guy,
Yes.
by the way. This is the guy, by
He
the way.
told about Floyd Mayweather that
Yeah,
he is
just be the
five
best
feet
boxer in the
something.
world, bro. Yeah,
You can work hard and become the next Floyd Mayweather.
bro, how do I get the reflexes of Floyd Mayweather? How do I get the ring IQ of Floyd Mayweather? Like how?
Oh, you're gonna never miss a day and you're just gonna keep grinding and hustling.
This is the guy, by the way, who was taken care of by 3 women at the age of 25, who tells other guys that they should just keep grinding and hustling their lives away. I think, like I discussed moments ago, my discussion with feminists often results in in a revelation of their ideas. They believe that because boys are being red pilled, that's why they're alone. Not that these guys are just selling the meds. They are selling the false vaccines for these children, so they can fall into those traps and get scammed.
Like for example, if you have gotten cough and cold, instead of getting the medicine, you wrap yourself in a thick cloth and think that you have gotten the cure for it.
Also, you know what? Like, I believe there's an issue in anthropology where we oversimplify past human beings. We believe that past human beings had to be more simple than us. They were, either, egalitarian bands of hunter gatherers, or you have theories of women being more simple and being oppressed by men, as opposed to simply, you know, assorting themselves in a way that would benefit them. That is the most logical conclusion that one can reach if they are neutrally observing history. But instead, it always has to be about men oppressing women. And there's one issue with Roy Baumeister's theory is he believes that the sexual liberation of the market was a move by men so sex would be more available. I I think this is partially wrong. This would make sex more available for the rich chads. This would not make sex more available for the average man.
The oofy doofy.
Yeah, this would not make it easier for the oofy. So it was, of course, provided massive support. This feminist movement was provided massive support by the billionaire class. Like, there's no surprises there, to be honest.
What are you doing, bro?
Thinking of the
You're
next.
opening, you're opening doors or something.
Bro, I am thinking about the next topic. Bro, I'm opening the fridge too. Holy shit, man. This fridge is done for. It's frosted beyond recognition.
It's colder than the cold thoughts of the old one it is.
Brutal. Yeah, this was a very fun episode, to be honest. And
So when you see the Chad, you shall apply DST gel on their scalp and you shall be granted salvation. Chadintians 1-1.
yesterday I was talking to this girl, like, that same woman who commented on my post. She was like, "Oh, I'm a nice person. If you look at someone and the first thing that you think about them is they are really ugly, you need to work on yourself. You need to do this. You need to, come on, man." Like, and then the next day when I suggest Ellen Burchard's research, you're like, "God forbid a woman have standards." Like, this is the inherent hypocrisy that I find in these people, man. Like, I then presented all of that research where I showed that young children, like babies, even babies, look at more attractive faces for longer, or parents treat the attractive children better. And they're like, "Oh, you are sexualizing father and daughter relationships." Yeah, this is where you are sexualizing parental relationships. And honestly, this kind of got me pissed for a moment. And I'm usually very cool in debates. I'm any time a man disagrees with you and brings up something like this, your mind automatically wanders to, yeah, he's sexualizing. He's sexualizing because you people probably believe that that's the only thing that men are capable of. This is very telling of your own belief system, your own thought process about men. It doesn't even have to be sexual, that's the point. Why do human beings care for certain dog breeds and cat breeds? Why don't they just raise these stray dogs and cats? Is it because they want to fuck the breeded dogs and cats?
It's because they like the looks, the hygiene, quote unquote hygiene, and the looks of the stray cat or stray dog. They do not like it, but if it's a bought one, like a very good looking, what you can say, name a good dog breed, man.
Like, of course, Pomeranians are kind of funny looking and cute looking.
Yeah, something like that.
Golden retrievers, of course, they are like hilarious.
But if some dog is very ugly, like a chihuahua something, they just, a person would get completely scared that they will start to think that
This is the
dog
issue.
is very dangerous.
People are so horrible at. I'm not telling you to go ahead and tell people, "Hey man, you're horrible looking." In fact, the entire purpose of the community, the entire purpose of this look scale is realizing that not everyone has got it. It's not discriminating, and also realizing that how you look has an effect on how you are treated by the world, how the world views you, and course correcting on top of that. Acknowledging our biases is the first step towards course correction. Instead, if you just sit in your bubble of self-righteousness and keep telling yourself, "Oh, I am not biased. I'm a very nice person. I don't judge people for their looks," and lie to yourself, then you are just completely retarded.
And also, people.
It's a sort of
Black
it's a
pill.
sort of it's a sort of self acceptance, like honest
Yes,
assessment of where you were born, uh, where you were born, what your racial background is, how tall you are, how good looking you are, how intelligent you are, might perfectly explain why you were treated the way that you were treated. Instead of telling people that it's because they're not working hard enough, it's because there's a certain flaw in their personality, it's a kind of self acceptance that tells those people that, yeah, maybe it's not your fault. Instead, you need to stop denying the fact that people are, instead, these people who just deny the fact that people are treated differently based on how they look, that they themselves do this.
also people believe that black pill is about giving up and it's very, shallow and very bad. But in reality, it's just that you have to play with the cards that you're dealt with and not go on the places, or not play the games that are just
Far too
confirmed
risky.
that they will
Far too
make you
risky.
lose. Like if you are 2 out of 10, you should not, even try for a 10 out of 10. That's the thing, or you will get embarrassed, or even a case will be filed upon you.
Brutal. Bro,
Brutal.
this episode was fun in a way, but yeah, I mean, it didn't go as I planned, because you are like, you just made me lose my train of thought at times, but yeah, it was still fun.
Man, this I have never had a conversation with anybody, not even online. I'm talking about speaking to the mouth, IRL or online. I have never had any conversation with anybody in English, so this was my first time, and it was very, very low IQ, retarded.
Yeah, at
Say
times it
I
was
would,
low
I
IQ and
would,
retarded at times. But yeah, I tried to keep
I
it
would,
high
I
IQ.
would
And you were high IQ at times as well, but yeah.
I would rate my conversation the same number that you have rated my face.
Yeah. Um, there's one point that I might have missed, that um,
Is the recording all on?
men don't have similar avenues for social mobility that women have. Like that, the average woman being rated 5.5 out of 10, she has chances of simply marrying someone who is richer. To be honest, even less attractive women are often paired with high earning men. That was the research from Kanizawa, Larere, and Who in 2018. They discovered that very unattractive women were often paired with very high earning husbands. So women have an advantage in that sense, but an average man doesn't have that kind of an advantage. So they might have to commit crimes, in dire situations. They might have to do it, not because they are bad people, but because life has forced them to do that.
Yeah. Even at times, when you were small in school, if you had seen a rich Chad who has like costly pens, and then some random subhuman Dalit kid tries to steal his stuff.
What? Bro, you are saying the most out of pocket random shit possible.
No, but it happens. It has happened. In my class, I've seen stuff like this happening, and it does it does happen. That Chad mocks the subhumans in the class, and then they form a group of the backbenchers, thinking that, oh, there's some shit. They try to fight. Like I've told a story of one guy, right? Yes, he had gym cell to extremities, and then he
Extremities.
defeated. And then he defeated the 6 feet blonde Rajasthani Chad. But still, if that guy even trained for a month, he would just
It's
mock him to oblivions.
it's over.
What are you even eating, man? Some fish curry?
Nah, man. Like I bit my own lip accidentally. That's what happened. I was laughing so hard I might just have bitten my own lip.
When you have no other lip to bite, you bite your own lip.
Brutal. All right,
Yeah,
all right.
what we should
So how many
what we
months
should
did
do
that?
from the
How
next.
many months did that guy gym sell for?
Let me remember. It was like around an year. Around an year.
He had to gym sell for a whole year just to barely beat that guy.
No, no, no. It was just overall for more aura.
Brutal. Um,
And from next episodes, I think that we should do something like this. We should bring Saint Orca and you, and I would just be here like Sean O'Fra and Chico put the random Asian in the bottom. And then
bro, what's with the self-depreciation?
I don't know, man, but I would just, at times I would gesture and joke Max,
Joke, man.
joke,
Yeah.
and mock your conversations because people like funny shit, not the.
I mean, I
not
guess
the
they like
train of.
they like both. They like both, to be honest.
Yes, yes. So at times I would just joke around for 2 minutes, and intro and outro will be mine. The podcast will be great. I will also give you a thumbnail for the video. Do you need it?
Yeah, that would help. That would really help. Like for real.
Okay. And you should edit something, man. You just put it randomly. You just don't put our
I
chats
need
where
I need
the
editors
chats,
right now. I need editors right now.
and you're gonna pay them what, 2 pennies?
Yeah, and um,
And don't
the
put
whole
our
conversation the
chats.
whole conversation got derailed. I'm still uploading this because this was hilarious, but I'm gonna discuss similar stuff with Orca, with a more because the problem with you is you just derailed my train of thought like entirely.
Look, when I was new in the black belt, I was also like you. Like you're maybe more older than me in this black belt. Of course you are. But when I was new in this, I too was like all day reading and watching videos and all that. But now I'm just like humorous guy in this thing. I don't just take things seriously in this.
So guys, keep grinding, keep hustling, shoot down your dreams. Don't ever get up. Video go like over. It's over.
And
It's
and
more.
also, you just have to take that first step, take that hard step of actually roping someday.
Yeah, so I'm hanging up the call and the video as well. Like,
Let's hang up together.
huh?
The call I'm talking about, the call.
All right. I'm stopping the recording.